Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chassis Variant series with myself, Critical Rocket, the last of the Chassis Variant series of Direwolves, of pretty much the whole thing. I started this series back in February 2016. It's more than 2 years on, and I have finally caught the end point that I set myself, which was to start with the Locust and get all the way to the Direwolf, doing all Innisphere and all clan mechs in between that hadn't already had gameplay videos done. And yeah, here we are with the Direwolf W. This one is a Wolf Dragoons variant. It's effective at long and short range, uses a Gauss rifle, an ER large, an LRM-20, with an Ultra AC-20, ER small, and a pair of pulse lasers. So it's a bit of a mix of everything. It has 4 energy in total, with 2 ballistics and 1 missile. 1 ballistic is in the left arm, the other ballistic is in the right torso. Missile is in the left torso, and the energy is spread between 2 in the CT, 1 in the right arm, and 1 in the head. So you've got a pretty generous mix of all your equipment across the mech, and it's okay. I don't mind it. It's not one I jump to though. It's not the one I think like, oh yeah, I'm going to take a Direwolf. Oh, you know what? I'll run the W. It's not really that interesting a design for me personally. The most interesting thing about this is the fact that it's a Wolf Dragoons variant, and they do have a small factory, I believe, on Outreach at a later time. I think it's post Clan Invasion, and on Outreach when Wolf Dragoons become the people who run. You see, this is one of the things that annoys me, like writers' pets, right? The writers of BattleTech, like writers for any kind of role-playing game and such, always have their favourites, right? D&D have their favourite characters in, you know, forgettable realms with drits and all that shit, right? Well, BattleTech's writers always had a couple of hard-ons. One of those was Davian. Davian always had to be, you know, the greatest one. They were the special house. They were the protected house. And in mercenary terms, Wolf Dragoons were the writer's favourite, so they got everything. Oh, they're the best. They're the best mercenary unit. And of course, then it becomes their MRBC. They're the ones who decide who has the best this, that, and the other. And Wolf Dragoons get all these special things, and it just becomes annoying. I hate that element of writing like that. And I know some people point out, like, yeah, but Wolf Dragoons had this horrible thing happen to them, or they had this great thing. And it's a cool narrative for the Wolf Dragoons, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that they were this sort of sleeper unit that was put into the Innisphere, and they were supposed to be gathering intel, and then they go back into the dark space between the Innisphere and Clan worlds, and they'd report back on what they found, and they made enemies along the way. That's a really cool narrative, but part of the problem with the writing staff for me was just the way that it suddenly became like, oh, and now that everyone knows that they were a bunch of clanners in disguise, that they would suddenly, like, Comstar are no longer the ones who are monitoring the mercenary review board, the mercenary review and bonding commission. Now Wolf Dragoons just get that. Apparently all the other merc companies are like, yeah, alright, whatever. It just, like, isn't the whole point of a mercenary, like, review and commissioning board like that supposed to be headed up by an independent group that doesn't have a bias? Yet, so you give it to mercenaries who themselves are not biased in any way, shape, or form. Oh no, that can't be. No, apparently the Wolf Dragoons will be totally down the middle. They won't have any issues, despite the fact that the unit has been flobbing around the Innisphere for decades, fighting all and sundry along their way, pissing off houses like Kurita, fighting other famous mercenary units in their days, all this, that, and the other going on. Apparently, yeah, this is the group we want to, you know, monitor that. I don't know. I'm probably going to get dislikes for that thing, because Wolf Dragoons is popular, and I don't dislike the Wolf Dragoons. I just dislike the way the writers kind of gave them favourite status, which meant that they get all of these special things layered. They're already special. That's the point, is they already have a unique aspect to them. They aren't like a Grade F Legion or a Kellhounds or whatever, who just have their origins in the Innisphere for the most part, who are just a group of good pilots who built a core unit around them. No, they not only are the Wolf Dragoons clanners who turn up with a load of pristine battle mechs with all their gear and everything else still attached, but they also get to be the guys who run the mercenary review board, They're also the guys who get to have factories on Outreach. They're also the ones who get to do this, and they're like, oh god, you know, it's just like they're already pretty cool. We don't need to keep layering on layers of cool, you know. This whole thing has been about Wolf Dragoons. I do apologise for that, because it's the most interesting thing about the Direwolf W. This match, as you have probably seen over my rambling, has been brutal. A textbook example of where not to go on Canyon. The whole team bottled themselves up in that area and refused to leave. And once the high ground Obi-Wan Kenobi strategy was used, that was it. They were screwed. They were trapped because they didn't keep moving. I think if they kept rotating around, maybe they might have been able to get into this more open area, or they could have gotten into another part of the map that might not have bottled them up so much. But as soon as that happened, they were dead. And yeah, I like to think this is a bit of a textbook example of where not to take the team on Canyon Network, or at least not a good place to make a stand. So that's that one. Direwolf W, it's great. It's like the Direwolf is just a fantastic base to start building your your design from. It's got great omnipods. It's got a shitload of pod space available for you. You can do all kinds of weapon configurations that you want. It's powerful. It doesn't pop as quickly as the Kodiak because its side torsos and that are a little bit smaller hitbox wise. It's just a solid design, and yeah, I'd wholeheartedly recommend it for anyone who's a big clan player and a big assault player. So yeah, give it a go. Other than that, yeah, this thing's ending, and genuine, you know, I'm not trying to piss off any Wolf Dragoons fans out there. I'm sorry. It's just a little thing with the writing staff. I'm sure there's other things in BattleTech that also writers have special little things about as well. But don't take it too seriously. I'm just having a jape. So yeah, have a good one, everybody. This represents the end of the chassis series until a new mech comes out. So yeah, I'm just happy that that's done. I just thought I'd have a little silly rant. So yeah, have a good one, everybody. Thanks for listening, and have a good week. Bye! You know what? This is the end. Yeah. And much like Holly, I'm gonna go out on a song. So this is the end, my friends, the end.